friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another grid down tips and tricks, and this is part 3. And if you're new to my channel, let me explain a few things before I go on to the things I want to talk about. So I am one that normally has videos that are out 3 to 4 weeks because I always like to stay far ahead on my videos just in case something happens. Like last year when I lost my mom, it was so good being ahead on those videos because I had time to not worry about making videos and they were just scheduled to come out. And so I still like to keep it that way just in case. However, with the certain circumstances that we are all in right now, I have found it important to start putting out some specific videos about gardening, about whatever, to get out to you right away so that you can use this stuff now in the situation that we're in. Because we do know that the term grid down is actually in reference to our power grid, we still like to use that as a term in any situation, be it big or small. And right now, for a lot of people, we're in a grid down situation because life as we know it has really changed. And so what I'm trying to do here is give you some tips and tricks to make it through this time that we're in right now. This is actually part 3. And if you're interested, go check out my other parts. And again, I do have other videos as well I've been putting out just kind of back to back, which means though some of my other this and that videos, because I haven't actually shot any new this and that videos for a little while now, are getting pushed out even farther. So if you see those down the road and some of the things I say might seem a little off to the time, that's because they're at least a month old by the time you see it. But again, I thought these were more important to get out right away. So let's start off by talking about one of the probably least important things when you're looking at a situation like this, but one of those things that just as women makes us feel better about ourselves, and that is having the ability to still have something to make us look pretty. So I just put out a video. It was one I was going to wait and do later, but I decided to get it out sooner, on making your own homemade mascara. I have an old one, but I've been wanting to redo this one for quite a while. So I will make sure that I link that down in the description box below. Remember to hit either the little gray arrow on your smart device or the show more. Both are located right under the video. So I'll be linking to other videos underneath as well so that you can go learn some of this stuff for yourself. So I have that out. I also have a video on how to make your own homemade face powder, which I'll also put down below, and homemade lip balm. Now obviously some of this stuff is going to be according to, do you even have that stuff on hand? Are you able to do it? Maybe and maybe not, because I can't honestly say from the time I'm actually shooting this video until the time it actually publishes how much things have changed. Because at the moment I'm shooting this video, a lot of these things are still currently available on Amazon. At least I know that. We're very remote, so I don't even know what's in people's stores, especially, you know, people have Kroger's and this and that. We don't have any of that stuff around here. We have one local grocery store. It's an excellent store, but it's the only one we got. So we don't know about all that stuff. And so anyway, I don't know what's available to you. So I'm going to do my best to try to help you with that. But you can check out my videos. Like the homemade face powder is most likely something you can make out of things you already have on hand, even if you're not one to stock up on stuff. Do you have cocoa powder and either a cornstarch or arrowroot powder or tapioca starch? Chances are you have what you need to make that. Some of the extra things like the French green clay are excellent, but you can still make it with just the 2 ingredients if you absolutely have to. So anyway, I'll make sure to link to that video down below as well. Last video I did in this series, I was talking about making soap, which I'm going to be making some more. Today I'm making the colloidal silver, tea tree, and marshmallow soap. So I have a few things sitting here, so I remember to get it done. And so if you haven't started soap making, get your lye, at least get it now so that you can have it. And then when you're ready to learn to make it yourself, you've got it there and you don't have to worry about it being gone off the shelves. I have lots of soap making videos that you can check out. I have a whole playlist. I'll go ahead and link to that down below. But along with that, I do have a video on making your own liquid hand soap using the bar soap. But I don't even do that anymore, because now, if you would have seen very recently, I had a this and that video that I actually shot over a month ago, even though it just recently published, about how I was taking soap chips and adding them to water, just like little leftover pieces of bar soap or chips that come off when I'm making hand soap. And I've been using those to make my my liquid hand soap now. And so this is actually the one made just from soap chips. Look how thick it is. So I'm actually going to need to thin it out a little bit with water. So I'd put water in the jar. I had been throwing just little bits and pieces of the soap, but just letting that sit in there, adding a few soap chips as I went. Some of it, you know, it was already starting to thicken up pretty good on its own, because even just sitting in the liquid, your soap chips will dissolve. Then when it got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I've got plenty of soap in here, what I did, I took a cold trivet, set it on top of my wood stove, then set this on top of that. You don't want to set this directly onto a heat source unless the heat source is cold and then you heat it up. Canning jars are made to get very hot, so you can do this. So if you do it on your conventional oven, or even a hot plate like I got back here, then you can set it right on there as long as the burner is cold, and then turn the burner up to like low, maybe medium low. I wouldn't go any hotter than that. And so that the water inside can get warm, but you want it to happen slowly so you don't break your glass. And then just take a long spoon or a chopstick and just stir it up, and then that will dissolve whatever's left in the soap. And now you have a nice liquid hand soap. And like I said, this is just about too thick, and so I'm going to be adding a little more water to it and stirring that in. And then now I have another jar of hand soap to fill up my little containers next to the different sinks that we have. So that's one thing you can do to also make, and the great thing about this is you're also making the most of your leftover bits and pieces of soap. Just turn it into liquid hand soap. And then another video I want to direct you back to, if you haven't seen it yet, is one I just did. I actually just shot it today. And on garden tips, especially for beginners, but even if you're not a beginner, maybe some just other ways, just a few different ideas that you might want to consider trying in your garden, especially if maybe you're expanding, you're seeing the importance of either putting in a garden fresh and new, or you wanting to take some more of the space you already have and start more garden area, because you see the importance of growing your own food, especially now. Because like I said in that video, it's not just that people are going in and buying up all the stock and taking everything there is and not leaving stuff for people. What's happening is stores are not actually able to get in all the normal amount of supplies that they used to get in. And this isn't made up. This is really happening. I know this for certain because my son is an assistant manager at our local store. He is also the one that does quite a bit of the ordering from the store. And he was telling us just the other day that he's only getting in a fraction of his orders. They're not actually getting shipped. And I don't know if it's that it's a shortage on a grand scale, or if it's that there is some kind of limit being put onto things being shipped to certain stores from some higher companies, just like Amazon's been putting a limit on, you know, people who actually sell through Amazon, actually suspending their sales or the shipments coming into Amazon. I understand, but it does put a pinch on the small business person that sells their stuff through Amazon. But they're putting the importance on the more necessary items, you know, the paper items and the disinfecting items and things like that. So and we're also seeing it taking a long time for orders to come in on certain things, you know, like my Costco orders used to get here in 2 days. Now they take over a week to get here. And that's if I can even get what I used to be able to get. So this is really happening, and I'm sure a lot of you are actually seeing it for real and you understand this. But with this going on, it makes it even more important. We don't know when this is going to be over. We have no idea. We get all these different hypotheses, but we don't know. There's no one that can actually tell us honestly, like, this is going to end next week or next month or by the end of summer. We don't know this. And so don't delay in getting a garden started and doing something to make yourself more self-sufficient. You might even find how much more you like the food that comes out of your own garden than you do from your local store. And I think it's something people should always be doing anyway, even if it's just a small amount. Even if all it is you live in an apartment and all you can do is grow a few herbs on your windowsill. do that. It's something. Every little bit you can do, no matter how small, is going to help you out and also take a strain off of the stores and the other people that need these items. Just like using the cloth wipes, maybe some people have reasons why they can't use a cloth toilet wipe or use a bidet or some kind of water system. Maybe they only, for whatever reason, can use toilet paper in their situation. Well, then those of us who can, take that extra step of using the cloth wipes and washing them, or using a bidet instead. Whatever it is, if you can do that and you have the ability to do it, then do it, and then that puts less strain on the other people and the store. So every little bit that we can do to be more self-sufficient not only helps ourselves, it helps everyone else as well. I want to keep encouraging the gardening thing. I just think it's really important for whatever it is that you can do. And don't forget container gardening. There's, maybe you just have a little deck space. You can grow quite a bit in containers, just like my blueberries out there on the deck that have been in there for years and give us tons of berries. Okay, then another thing I want to point out is if you're new to cooking, baking, or learning how to use leftovers and you're realizing now you're going to have to do that to either make the food that you have stretch, or because maybe you can't get the prepackaged meals you're used to buying, then it's important to learn how to do these things. Now I have tons of cooking videos and baking videos, and a lot of them are based on what we have in food storage. So I know not everybody watching this video has already had a good food storage put in place, but I hope this does help make you realize the importance of having that. But with that, even whether you do or don't, maybe you manage to get your hands on a roast of some sort. Well, there's so many ways that you can take that roast and you can stretch it out to last for a very long time. Whether it be a chicken or a beef roast, a venison roast, or even a whole big salmon or steelhead. There's many things you can do with whatever's left over to really stretch it out. Normally what we'd do is we'd make a big whatever, roast or whole chicken. I always bake my chicken as a whole chicken. Then I take the rest of it and make many more meals out of that through the rest of the week. And it can stretch out for a very long time. It takes a long time for us to work through a whole chicken. And even I realize there's only 2 of us, but even for a family of 4, you can really stretch things out. So if you're wanting to learn how to do some of these things, I have a whole series on making the most of leftovers that, so specifically talking about meat. So if you're a vegan or vegetarian, this may not apply to you. And so you can check out those videos and see how we stretch that out. Here's a few examples, like making a tamale pie, or taking whatever it is, whatever leftover meat it is. It can be chicken, it can be venison, it can be beef, and making a pot pie, or turkey, and making a pot pie out of it. And I have a long list of many more different meals that you can make. And then of course there's always soups, and soups can stretch out for a long ways. And there's a lot of great bread recipes out there. I have a few of my own. I know some people are putting out the no-knead bread recipes. I have a recipe on that too, but I actually prefer the kneaded bread. Besides some of the things I make, like rolls or hamburger buns or hot dog buns or pizza crust, that stuff has to be kneaded. So I have recipes on how to do all that, and I even have recipes on how to take your own homemade fermentation starter to make a bread without having to use a dry yeast, because I realize for a lot of people they can't even get dry yeast right now. We happen to have some that I always keep it stocked, and once I open a bag, I keep it in the freezer so it doesn't go bad, because it will if it's left either in an unsealed container where it's not vacuum sealed and not frozen, then it will eventually get to a point where it doesn't work anymore, and it's just a waste to even try to use it. So if you're interested, go ahead and check out that playlist I'll put down below. And then one more thing I want to share with you is, now more than ever, anytime you have a day where it's sunny out, get out in that sun. It doesn't mean you'll have to go out in public, just get out in your yard. In fact, that's when you should be gardening. Get out there while you've got the sun and the fresh air, and don't wear sunglasses. And unless you're very Nordic, don't wear any sunblock, because you need that sun. Sunblock, in fact, a lot of the stuff you buy from the store is very bad for your skin and your health in general. Sure, it may prevent you from getting a sunburn, but that's the only thing it's going to do for you. Actually, the best way to prevent sunburns is to eat right. Having a good internal diet helps your skin from the inside out. But I do realize some people that are very pale do need some kind of protection. And so I did put a video out on natural sun protection. It might be as much as 2 years ago. I will also put that one down below because there are many great ways that you can protect your skin that are also far healthier than that expensive and toxic sunblock you can buy in the store, which who knows, you might not even be able to get right now, but you might have things on hand already. Coconut oil is one of them too. Coconut oil does have some natural sunblock, not as high as others, but I do have a good long list in that video. Go check it out now. So if you have the ability to get those things now that are in that list, get them now. And those things are going to be good for a lot of other things, such as making your own homemade skin cream and much more. But again, I have to stress the importance of getting that sun because it's good for vitamin D. The UV rays do kill viruses and just for your overall health. It's also good for your eyes. No, do not stare directly at the sun, but allow the sun to hit your eyes. That's why I say don't wear sunglasses. You're out there, you know, the sun is shining this way, sun is getting on your eyes. That's really important for eye health as well, believe it or not. So do not wear the sunglasses. I stopped wearing sunglasses years ago, and my eyes do so much better out in the sun than they did. I used to not be able to handle the sun at all and always had to wear sunglasses. Now I never wear them. And I always feel better when I can get some sun on my eyes. Sun exposure, as much as you can get, is going to be very important. But of course, taking care of your skin, especially if you're very fair skinned, is important as well. But don't listen to the hype about the sun causing skin cancer and all that, because I believe that most skin cancers are coming from not getting out and getting enough sun and vitamin D exposure, and the constant use of toxic chemicals on the skin to supposedly prevent skin cancer. So you need that sun, especially now more than ever. Okay, well, I hope you're enjoying this series on my grid down tips and tricks to get you by. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.